the gap. Chile is very special in that sense. Is by far the less corrupted country, actually less corrupted than the States, by the way. You are 31, Chile I think is 28, so we're less corrupt than the States according to Transparency International. Of course there is discrimination. The best evidence of it is that the difference not only in education, but I guess that as a consequence of a certain amount of discrimination in society as a whole, you see it again as an evidence, as a bit of evidence, the fact that there's differences in salary. So when you're performing the same job, just like in the States and other places, I don't know how big is it. I know that we have issues there. After all, still it's a developing nation and it's a Latin nation, and you know there is a certain stereotypes. Again, here too, I guess that things are changing rapidly. I do have another evidence that I can provide to prove it. We elected our first woman president just 3 years ago. We haven't done it yet in this country. So, yeah, we're getting somewhere. So we have a president who is a woman, single mother. That tells you a lot about a cultural change and a structural change too. There's laws in place trying to minimize and to eventually eliminate the discrimination between women and men in education. Education in particular, like I said, more than the gender, although it is there, I'm sure it's there. I don't have the figures and numbers to give it to you, but since I grew up there, I can tell you that sure, it got to be there. Again, salaries prove it that way. But more important than that is actually socioeconomic differences. Women, men with money will have access to good education. If you grew up in a wealthy family, myself, I was well off there, not like the top, but well off. You look at the States and you look at certain aspects of the States. So there's a lot of people out there in Latin America, even beyond Chile, and actually even more so in other places than in Chile perhaps, like in Ecuador, that they come to Miami, they go shopping, you know, into the malls, and they have this idea about like plastic surgery. So they they relate to a certain strata within the States too. So they don't even, they don't go to Michigan, they don't go to Ohio, they don't go to Arkansas. Why would they do that? They go to Miami, they go to, you know, Disney World, they take their kids to Disney World. That's the States for them. They go to California, that's the States. And they go to Orange County. They hang out with the rich people in the States to begin with. So again, I don't know if you can understand that, but the narrative, the idea they have about the States is not necessarily the idea of like the working class, blue collar, let's drink some beer after work, and everybody got the right to a little piece of the dream. They're not talking about that. They're thinking and they're looking at this, I don't know, wealthy America. And when they go back to their countries, including Chile, that's what they get from this American dream. If, on the other hand, you were an immigrant, and there's a lot of those, like a Mexican crossing the border, and going to California, certainly no, if they go to Orange County, it would be to pick up oranges probably, or actually they don't have too many oranges anymore, but it's a different story for them. The States represents an opportunity. There's a lot of like protecting and giving answers. There's no too much, there's no good dealing with uncertainty. You want answers, you want it now, you want a lot of information that has to do with our technological surroundings too. We are used to it, especially this generation, this generation here in college. You go to the internet, you don't even have to look in books. It is waiting for me, it should be there, at a click distance. To generate inquisitive minds and to really create individuals that apply critical thinking, more than actually teaching something in particular, create thinkers. Give me a job. And there's a huge gap between those two that I just said. This is actually very international, and the States is not the exception. Females tend to be very, very good. A group of females, they tend to be the best students in every classroom. Again, very international. Also, some of them, the worst. Males tend to be right in the middle. Yes, I know that, and I know that through experience. That's normally the case. You have these the best students, the top students in a class normally are female. Then the worst ones are also females. I know that it may sound controversial, but do your research. That's the case. I don't know why it happens. And males tend to be just right there in the middle. Not too good, not too bad. Although there's those too, good,